What happens when the sharpest critic of an industry suddenly becomes its most scrutinized product? Rabbit News Hallyu begins right at that uncomfortable intersection, where past words refuse to stay buried and the spotlight becomes a mirror no actor can escape. Years before Zhang Linghe ever wore armor on screen, before the polished stillness of his now famous General Zhang persona in Chasing Jade, there was a university student named Zhang Linghe, armed not with scripts, but with critique. His words were precise, almost surgical, dissecting an industry he believed had lost its soul. He accused young idols of emotional emptiness, questioned inflated actor salaries, and challenged the very purpose of television dramas. Were they reflections of society, or just decorative illusions? And now, the irony feels almost too perfect. The same industry he once criticized has placed him at its center, dressed in 18 kilograms of armor, his face meticulously styled, his image debated across platforms. Is this poetic justice, or a test of integrity? The internet, of course, chose its side quickly. Some called it a boomerang effect, a narrative too irresistible to ignore. The gun he once used to criticize has turned back on him, they joked. When mainstream media labeled his portrayal too refined for a battle-hardened general, the comparison to his past critique of pretty but hollow idols became unavoidable. So the question lingers, has Zhang Linghe become exactly what he once warned against? But storytelling rarely thrives on surface-level contradictions. Beneath the polished visuals lies a quieter, more stubborn truth. This is an actor who lost 7 kilograms for a role, who endured physically demanding shoots in real armor, who reportedly approached each scene with almost anxious dedication. Co-star Jean Jing described him as serious to the point of tension. Is that the behavior of someone detached from his craft, or someone trying to outrun his own past words? Perhaps the real tension isn't between critic and actor, but between expectation and evolution. Can a person outgrow their own critique? Or are they forever bound to it? There's also something almost cinematic about this narrative itself. A young man stands outside the gates of an industry, pointing out its flaws with clarity and conviction. Years later he steps inside, and discovers that the machinery he once judged is far more complex than it seemed. Does he compromise, or does he adapt? And maybe that's the uncomfortable truth audiences are grappling with. Not whether Zhang Linghe is consistent, but whether consistency is even possible in an industry built on transformation. Because if growth means confronting your own contradictions, then perhaps this isn't a fall from grace, but a collision with reality. So what do we actually want from our actors? Perfection, or evolution? And more importantly, are we judging Zhang Linghe for who he is now, or for who he used to be? As Rabbit News Hallyu continues to trace these fault lines, one thing becomes clear. The story isn't about hypocrisy, it's about what happens when ideals meet the cost of becoming real. And maybe the real question is this: if you were given the chance to enter the very system you once criticized, would you do any better?